Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring the vampire, Alone in the Darkness. If you haven't seen part 1 of my review featuring this solo slash co-op slash traditional tabletop RPG, where you play as a vampire attempting to survive the long night, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about character creation. To generate a character, first you create a human character, to later transform into a vampire, by adding the chosen caste's benefits and weaknesses. Castes are similar to clans in Vampire the Masquerade. You need to follow certain steps to do this. First, you assign the values 4, 3, and 2 to each of the following statistics: body, presence, and mind. The bigger the value, the better your character is with that statistic. You add 5 to your body, presence, and mind values to calculate your hit points, stance, and willpower. Then you choose 2 skills. Each skill gives you a bonus on checks of the statistic to which it is associated. Finally, you add the merits and weaknesses of the vampire powers and the chosen caste, changing the values of hit points, stance, and willpower as required. When it comes to statistics, they are pretty self-explanatory. Your body represents your character's strength, agility, and resilience. Presence has to do with your appearance, charisma, and ability to manipulate others. Mind represents your character's intelligence, reasoning, and resolve. When it comes to hit points, this represents the amount of damage and injuries your character can endure before becoming unconscious. When your hit points fall to 0, your character is rendered unconscious and dies if no one is around to help them. Every time your character suffers an injury or takes damage, you subtract that value from your hit points, of course. Mortals recover 1 hit point per day or 2 with medical treatment. Vampires heal differently and get taken by the shadow demon when unconscious. We will talk about that when we cover the rules in a future part. Concerning stance, it represents how firm your character is in social situations and if they are feared or respected when engaging in human interaction. If your stance falls to 0, you find yourself demoralized. If your character's stance value is greater than another person's stance, there is a natural dominance on your part. Finally, willpower is the ability to survive and overcome hardships. When your willpower falls to 0, you find yourself apathetic. After making a check, you can spend 1 point of willpower to reroll a d10. If so, you must use the new roll, even if it is lower than the first. Your character recovers 1 point of willpower per day by resting in a quiet place, or 2 if receiving proper treatment. Concerning skills, they are many and pretty self-explanatory. You have art, athletics, general knowledge, technology, survival, subterfuge, etc. Concerning turning into a vampire, after creating your human character, it's time to turn them into a deadly vampire. To do so, you choose one of the available castes, and then the age of your vampire. As soon as the shadow demon animates the body, it is brought into a kind of undead existence, recovering all the thoughts, experiences, and knowledge that the person had in life. In addition, the person soon realizes that some of their basic characteristics have been sharpened, given the intrinsic relationship they develop with the creature that inhabits their core. The body returns to the senses and functionalities it had in life, but with some changes. Their digestive system continues to function perfectly, but no matter how much food and drink the vampire ingests, those will never satisfy them. Only the blood of their prey, with or without the flesh, will feed them after their transformation. Finally, the vampire manifests characteristics when feeding or when using their powers. Their eyes are taken by a deep shadow, and all their teeth become pointed and very sharp. And quite obviously, breathing is no longer needed, no matter how much the memories of the past induce their lungs to continue their work. With this, gas, smoke, and other harmful effects do not affect the vampire, and they will never choke or drown. The vampires of The Vampire Alone in the Darkness are divided into castes, as mentioned previously, according to the type of shadow demon that animates their bodies. Each type has its history, characteristics, powers, and weaknesses. Vampires of different castes can work together and form legions, but certain creatures cannot tolerate proximity to other kinds of shadow demons. In cities, each caste has a tribune, who enforces the will of their group among many other vampires. The tribune is usually the most powerful and influential member of one caste in that region, and must fight hard for both the respect and well-being of their kind. The castes are the Atze, powerful and harmful demons attracted to warm and moist regions, who spread dangerous illnesses to their victims. You also have the Vital, inhabitants of remote and pastoral areas, corruptors of faith and mysticism. You also have the Gaki, discreet and sadistic entities who kill in silence, usually choosing to live in the east. Then there is the Ghoul, monstrous creatures hiding in the shadows to corrupt everything approaching them. Then we have the Lilitu, sensual and lascivious demons who like to tease their victims and devour them amid lust. And then we have the Virolacos, combative demons with almost uncontrollable rage and despise for human life. Every newly created vampire is called young, and the older they get, the more powerful they become. On the other hand, the influence of the shadow demon on the body increases, and the greater their caste's weakness gets, the more dependent on their favorite prey they become. Once a vampire has collected 100 experience points, they can be considered an adult. When they gather 300 experience points, the vampire is regarded as an elder. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to talk about each of the different castes in detail. The character creation process is very simple, and there is enough character customization so that it fits your concept for that particular character. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. This has been Abraham El Jaguar, a professional game master. If you want me to run a game for you, please check out the pinned comment below. And remember, roleplay solves everything. Once again, thank you, and see you later.